Hello students and welcome to the lecture. So students, as we know that we had started the discussion over the parliament in the previous lecture. Alright, and basically in this particular series of the parliament, that these are the topics that we have scheduled for the discussion, like introduction part, organization of parliament, composition of two houses, system of elections to the Lok Sabha, duration of two houses, membership of parliament, presiding officers of parliament, leaders in parliament, sessions of parliament, devices of the parliamentary proceedings, legislative procedures in parliament, joint sitting of two houses, budget in parliament, multifunctional role of parliament, ineffectiveness of the parliamentary control, position of Rajya Sabha, parliamentary privileges, and the sovereignty of the parliament. Okay, so these are the topics that we have scheduled for the discussion under this particular series. Out of this, basically we have done with the introduction part and the organization of the parliament. And the topic we had started is the composition of the two houses, and the topics that we are completely left with are system of elections to the Lok Sabha, duration of two houses, membership of parliament, presiding officers of the parliament, leaders of parliament, sessions of parliament, devices of parliamentary proceedings, legislative procedure in parliament, joint sitting of two houses, budget in parliament, multifunction role of parliament, ineffectiveness of parliamentary control, position of Rajya Sabha, parliamentary privileges, and sovereignty of parliament. So that is the picture that we have created so far all together. Okay, so basically we will start from where we had left in the previous lecture. So basically in the previous lecture we had started and finished the composition of Rajya Sabha. So basically we know that in Rajya Sabha we have 250 seats which are on the fixed basis. Okay, then there is a division for election seats and for the nomination seats. All right, so the election seats are basically 238 seats. Okay, and these 238 seats basically filled by the indirect elections. All right, and then we know there is a nomination seats which are 12 seats, and these seats are basically filled by the nomination basis. Okay, so that's the thing. And thereafter what we had discussed more, that there is a fourth schedule of the constitution, okay, that deals with the allocation of seats between the states and union territories. Okay, so that's the thing that we had discussed in the previous lecture. Now let's move forward. So here we have to see the representation of the states. So the representatives of states in the Rajya Sabha are basically elected by the members of state legislative assemblies. Okay, that we had discussed already. The election in Rajya Sabha is basically indirectly organized, which means that the normal citizens like me and you could not participate in it. And thereafter I had told you, if the normal people could not participate in the elections, then basically there must be some specific electoral college, okay, which has been specially designed for the election. So this is basically the state legislative assemblies. So the state legislative assembly is basically elected the members who will represent their states in the parliament through the Rajya Sabha. Okay. The election is held in accordance with the system of proportional representation. Okay. Which means the single transferable weight. Okay. Seats are allotted to the states in the Rajya Sabha on the basis of population. Okay. Like we can say, suppose there are the states like the Uttar Pradesh, like the Kerala, okay, like the Arunachal. So if we look at these states, so what we will find, like the population will be different. The Arunachal Pradesh will having the lower population than Kerala, and Kerala will having the lower population than Uttar Pradesh. All right. And if we talk about that, division is basically on the basis of population. On the basis of population. So it is quite clear, like the seats of Uttar Pradesh will have the higher in number, then comes the Kerala, and then comes the Arunachal Pradesh. All right, that will be the thing. So the more the population, more the seats. Okay, so that will be the thing. Hence, the number of representatives varies from state to state. Why? Because there is a basis of population while deciding the seats. All right. For example, the Uttar Pradesh having the 31 members while Tripura having only one member. Why? Because the population of Uttar Pradesh is much more higher in comparison with the Tripura. However, in USA, all states are given the equal representation in the Senate irrespective of their population. Okay, like if we compare it, seat allocation procedure. Okay, so basically there is an India, and there is a USA. All right, in India, population is base. In USA, population is not the base. Okay, that's the thing. So basically here there will be a variations. There will be variations in seats from state to state. Here there will be a no variations, and hence will have the equality in representation. Okay, so that is the thing. So USA has 50 states and Senate has 100 members, 2 from each state. Okay, doesn't matter whether the Texas having the high population, the California having the low, or you can say whether California having the higher population than Washington. Doesn't matter, all the things will be equal. It means that the Texas will have 2 seats, the California will have 2 seats, and the Washington will have the 2 seats. Okay, now here is a one thing, let me make clear it for you. The Washington and the Washington DC, they both are different. All right, the Washington is the state of USA, while the Washington DC is the capital of USA. All right, remember this thing. After this, now we have the representation of union territories, because we know that seats have been divided between the states and the union territories. So basically the representation of each union territory in the Rajya Sabha, indirectly elected by the members of an electoral college, is specially constituted for the purpose. Why? Because we know, except the Puducherry, okay, and Delhi, except the Puducherry and Delhi, which having the legislatures, the other union territories do not having it. All right, so that's why to you can say confirm the uniformity, the electoral college specially constituted in the UTs for the purpose, so elected the members who will represent them in the Rajya Sabha. This election is also held in accordance with the system of professional representation by means of the single transferable vote. Okay, it means that voting case is same in both Rajya Sabha and both states and union territories. Okay, this is single transferable vote. Out of the 9 union territories, only the Delhi, the Puducherry, and the Jammu and Kashmir, which is now becomes the state. Okay, remember this, the Jammu and Kashmir is now the state, have the representation in the Rajya Sabha. The population of other 6 union territories are too small to provide any representative in the Rajya Sabha. Why? Because we know that there is a population base for granting seats in Rajya Sabha. So if we follow it by this, so we will find that only the Delhi, Puducherry and Jammu Kashmir having the enough population so that they could have the representation in the Rajya Sabha, while the other 6 union territories does not have that much of population. Thereafter, after talk about the elected members, now we have to talk about the nominated members. So basically we know that the 12 seats are reserved for the nomination, right? So basically, who could fill these 12 nominated seats? So basically the answer is president. The president nominates 12 members to the Rajya Sabha from people who have the special knowledge or the practical experience in these fields, like in the field of art, field of literature, science, and the social service. All right. The rationale behind this principle of nomination is to provide the eminent persons a place in the Rajya Sabha without going through the process of election. Why? Because they might be good in art, they might be good in literature, they might be good at science, they might be good at social service, but they might be not good at politics because they do not have any political background. So maybe they could exclude it. All right. So that's why save them from being the part of process of election. They could have the direct nomination by the president of this country. It should be noted here that the American Senate has no nominated members, so only the elected members could be there. All right. Thereafter, if we talk about the composition of Lok Sabha, which is the House of People and even the lower house, if we talk about them, so the maximum strength of the Lok Sabha is fixed at the 552. Okay, and this 552 further having the division, 530 are the representatives from the states, 20 are from the union territories, and 2 are the nominated by the president from the Anglo-Indian community. Okay, so basically if we divided it, so total number of seats in Lok Sabha, total seats are 552. Okay, thereafter we talk about the division, open for election, from states, thereafter open for election from union territories, and then open for nomination from an Anglo-Indian community. Okay, so if we talk about it, so the open for election, five 30 seats are there. Open for elections from union territories, 20 seats are there. All right. Open for nomination from Anglo-Indian community, 2 seats are there. Okay, so just keep this flow chart in your mind. Okay, that will be helpful for you. Okay, of these 520, so if we talk about today, so at present the Lok Sabha has 545 seats. Of these, 550 members represents the state, 13 members represents the union territories, and 10 Anglo-Indian members are nominated by the President of India. Okay, so whether it's Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha, basically the President of India having the power to nominate the person. So if we talk about the representation of states, so the representatives of state in the Lok Sabha are directly elected by the people from the territorial constituencies in the states. Okay, it means that unlike the Rajya Sabha, where there was an indirect elections, okay, there is a direct elections in the Lok Sabha, okay, in which the normal people who belong to some particular territorial constituencies, they could elect the members as the representative in the Lok Sabha. The election is based on the principle of universal franchisee. It means that if anyone who is above 18 years of age, okay, then he or she could vote. All right. So the same thing is down here. Every Indian citizen who is above 18 years of age and who is not disqualified under the provision of the constitution or any law is eligible to vote at such election. The voting age, we know, was reduced from 21 to 18 years by the 61st Constitutional Amendment Act of 1988. Okay, prior to 1988, basically the voting age was 21, but after it became 18 years, and today still it is 18 years. Thereafter, if we talk about the representations of the union territories, like how does the union territories get the representation there? So basically, the constitution has empowered the parliament to prescribe the manner of choosing the representatives of the union territories in the Lok Sabha. Okay, like it means the manner in which the election of UTs would be carried out, that is basically depends upon the discretion of parliament and not a constitutional one. Okay, so accordingly, the parliament has enacted the Union Territories Direct Election to the House of the People Act 1965. Now it is very important, because here just we have discussed that it is totally depend upon the discretionary of the parliament, that they could decide which procedure or which manner is required to get elected from the Union Territories. Alright, so in this respect, the parliament had exercised its power in the 1965, and they provided us the act Union Territories Direct Election to the Lok Sabha, or you can say to the House of the People's Act 1965, by which the members of the Lok Sabha from the Union Territories are also chosen by the direct election. Okay, like we had discussed while we were talking about the Rajya Sabha. Okay, so Rajya Sabha, the states and the union territories. Okay, the states having the election from the state legislature, while the union territory having the special electoral college to be decided. Right, that's the thing. Thereafter, if we talk about the Lok Sabha, so things are a little bit different. Like if we talk about the states and then the union territories. So the states generally having the direct elections. Okay, it means the normal people, me and you, could go and vote directly. Similar thing was happened with the union territories. Like we had discussed, it's totally depend upon the discretionary powers of the parliament. So decide that through which manners the members would be elected from the union territories to represent the people of that particular union territory in the Lok Sabha. All right, and when we know that there is a provision that came into existence through the direct election. And what was the act? Union territories direct election to the House of the People Act 1965. Okay, so that particular act was passed by the parliament to give in force the direct elections. All right, so students, basically in this lecture we have finished till here. In the next lecture we will continue from here. Till then, just revise all the facts and figures that all we have discussed in this lecture and be ready for the another lecture. With this note, let's end this lecture and thank you.